Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Phenomenal Views. I am your host Nick Smith, and last night I watched a movie that is it's a tie between Captain America the Winter Soldier, The Amazing Spider-Man, X-Men Days of Future Past, and dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, 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 Hunger Games Catching Fire. That's right. Now, my very first impression of this was, well, I'm just going to let you guys hear what my very first impression of this film was. Yeah, that's it. Because, I mean, dang, this movie was awesome. And I don't mean that in the bad way. I mean the good way. My gosh, was this film great. So this film picks up after the last one, after the first Hunger Games. You know, Katniss and Peeta, because of the win that they got wealthy. They all live in these big houses, but still things are actually worse. Because of what they did, President Snow doesn't like it. So he's basically threatened Katniss and her family and her friends if they don't do something to fix it. So they go all around tour now because since they're the winners. And when they go to District 11, because to talk about what happened with Prue and Thrasher, I believe, when they go to their town, they're supposed to read cue cards that they're given by Iffy, who still freaks me out. I mean, good gosh, she freaks me out because it's like she's the Joker's unwanted daughter. But she still wears the makeup. It freaks me out. She freaks me out. But she actually does show some emotion in this film. And I was watching this film, I was talking to my friend Bryant. That's right, Bryant, you're in this video. Thank you for letting me borrow this movie. So, he said, when I was talking to her, I was like, dude, she freaks me out. And he's like, she's actually a lot better in this film. And I understand why. She actually does show emotion. Now, the thing is with this year's Hunger Games, as what was last year, Katniss volunteered, Peeta was chosen. And this one, it's every 25 years, victors are put in the Hunger Games again. It's just all victors this time. And so because of what she did, she is chosen to be in the Hunger Games again. And when Iffy has to say her name, she almost breaks down crying because she does not want to see her go through that again. They actually did really good with this character in showing some emotion instead of just being a beauty queen. And that's honestly what I thought. A Joker wannabe beauty queen. Joker wanting to be beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna have to get that image out of my mind. But, no, like, she does show some good emotion in this film, and I really did like it. As with, Haymitch, he's so hilarious. Since I've been reading the books, they talk about how drunk Haymitch is, and this is so funny, because this first scene in the movie starts off where Katniss throws alcohol on him and wakes him up. And she's like, if you wanted to be babied, you should have called Peeta. And I laughed, and it was funny. Hilarious. But when they go to the districts, when they start doing the whole three-finger sign and doing the Mockingjays, because that's what her and Prue used, or what her and Rue used, my bad, not Prue, what her and Rue used, an old man stands out and does that, and does the... And all of a sudden, he gets beaten down. And he even gets killed, and Katniss starts freaking out and crying, and she's like, what did I do? I did not mean to get that guy killed. And he's basically like, look, you guys are major stars, and this train never ends. The train that they're on where they go all around the world and talking about the districts, but they have to do it the way President Snow wants them to do it. He doesn't want rebellion, and that's the whole thing about this film. This film is the start of a rebellion. And that's not what Snow wants. That's not what Snow wants. He wants to keep everyone under his control. He wants his iron fist still gripped around these people, around these districts. He has everyone in his own little... He has everything under his control. And it's starting to break, and he doesn't want that. They do actually mention District 13, and at the end of the film, they go to District 13. But that's not really much mentioned about it, but besides that, so when all this is going on, she's reading from the cue cards, and they're saying, you know, you got to make your love story with you and Peeta more believable. So they're doing stuff like kissing a lot more on the camera, and Peeta even brings up, you know what, if they're wanting this to be more believable, why don't we just get married? But I'm like, not as a, like, you know, I love you proposal thing. Well, he does love her, but he knows that her and him have created this love story and that they're going to have to keep up with it. So he's like, why don't we just get married? And she's like, you know what, we're going to have to do it eventually. Like Haymitch said, this train never ends, so why not? So I come up with that idea, and I come up with that idea, and it makes things hard for Katniss, and especially Gale, because Gale does not like Peeta at all. Well, he doesn't really like him.
I just went through her photos. There's some really good ones.
Hold on,
They're so tiny, aren't you?
I'm trying to show you all a photo that I should have had prepared, but all right, I'm giving the video a little bit of time to load. All right, so they do a bunch of things to try to not go through the games again. Like, Peeta even goes the extra mile in saying that Katniss is pregnant, which a bunch of people still, the games are still on, which sucks. So, every time that they've been on the train, Katniss has been looking at the security cameras, and the first time she got caught, this time she doesn't. They're bombing the districts, because they bombed District 11. They're bombing the districts that are showing rebellion, and pretty soon, I think all the districts are going to be gone. This film was such an emotional roller coaster. There was only one problem I had with this film, and that was there is a scene at this ball, or at this party. It's the biggest party in the world now, and it's like to celebrate, like, you know, the victors of the Hunger Games and all that other stuff. And we see President Snow, who is there, and he's drinking wine, talking to the developer of the Hunger Games. And when he takes a drink and he pulls the glass away from him, there's blood. And they never bring this up again. If they took this scene out of the movie, we would have the exact same movie. I hated that they never brought that up again. You know, I don't even know if that's a thing in the book, but I haven't read it. But the fact is that they never bring it up again, I kind of didn't like. But that was the only problem I had with this film. The acting was great. We do see some more of District 12. We see some more of Katniss's world. And her and Gale are kind of a couple in this film, but as time goes on, she does choose Peeta when they're in the games. Now, the arena in this one is like a tropical jungle island. And what's amazing about this is that they all start on this rock platform. And each of these platforms represents a time. And there's this one character. They do talk about a bunch of different characters, a bunch of different victors. They talk about this one person, these two people, who were so smart that they hid until everyone else in the Hunger Games was dead, and that's how they won. Then they brought up these two smart people, and this one girl goes in shock because of one of the traps that was set off. We get a trap, like baboons chasing after them, raining blood. Yeah, there is a trap with raining blood, but it doesn't happen to Katniss. It happens to this one chick who Katniss, Peeta, and Haymitch meet in an elevator, and it was so hilarious. Katniss was grossed out. It was so funny. She comes through the elevator, and she's like, so, how do you feel about having the whole world wanting to sleep with you? I haven't thought about it. I wasn't talking to you. All of a sudden, this chick just gets butt naked right in front of all three of them. They don't show anything, but Haymitch's face and Peeta's face were priceless. Especially Katniss, because Katniss was grossed out. It was so funny. Oh my gosh, I was laughing to death. I was like, that's so funny. And Haymitch is like, well, our pleasure. It was so hilarious. We do get some more candidates that are going to compete in this year's Hunger Games. Like, they do talk about the other winners, and we do meet a lot of the other winners. We get the actor who played in Blue Mountain State, you know, the possibly homosexual douchebag, you know, the star of the football team or whatever. We get him in this film, and he plays like a ruthless... He kind of plays like the first guy in the first film, just not as... He's a ruthless killer, but, you know, him and his girlfriend or sister... You know, when they're on the TV show, he's the guy's like, You guys are like the brother and sister of these games. And I hope that this is not the last time we see you. And they're like, this won't be the last time you see us. But unfortunately, spoiler alert, it is. Because Katniss throws a spear, or shoots an arrow in his chest. But since Katniss and Peeta were supposed to get married, but they never got to because of the games, President Snow wants her to wear a dress, the wedding dress that she was supposed to supposedly wear. So again, they bring China, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's an awesome designer. I want this guy to develop my superhero costume. Yeah. So like in the first film, like, you know, like how when she was on stage and she was twirling around and her dress caught ablaze, this time the whole dress comes ablaze and it turns into this dress that has Mockingjay wings on the back. I was like, holy crap, Bruce Wayne, hire this guy! Hire this guy! But unfortunately, what happens because of what he did to the wedding dress, before Katniss goes into the Hunger Games, he gets beaten the living piss out of him, and I don't know if he's killed or not. But now, one of the major things that I hated about this film was the villains. And the villains make you hate them. Even worse. President Snow, these security guards, especially the new commander who is getting ready to beat a senseless old person to death, and Gale, like a champ, comes and tackles the guy, and unfortunately he gets whipped. They're wanting to show that they're not going to let any rebellion happen, so they're showing more thrashings, more executions. They're trying to scare everyone in the districts, but everyone's looking to Katniss for hope. And when she's at the dance, she meets the guy who designed the games. And I'm not going to tell you what happens with him. Actually, you know what? No, screw it. I'm going to have to. But he's talking to her about how he wants the games to mean something. And then he's talking to President Snow about... See, President Snow wants her dead for what she did. He wants her dead. DOA, dead on arrival. He wants her dead as a doornail. He wants her Deadpool dead. Well, no, not Deadpool dead. He would probably hire Deadpool to kill her. But then Deadpool would be like, nah, bang. Problem solved. But anyways, so he's like, make her look like she's one of us. Then just the whole entire world might try to kill her, and you might not even have to do it yourself. He's trying to get Katniss to break. And my gosh, does he succeed. But then she's going to kick his butt in the next film. But there was a lot of scenes where I thought that Peeta was going to die, and I was like, you die and I will not watch Mockingjay. But I'm going to finish up by talking about the arena. The arena is awesome. Better than the first one. I didn't mind the first one, but I prefer this one because it's a new environment and I love it. The beginning of the Hunger Games makes me think of when I was on swim team, because they each start on platforms and Katniss dives and swims up to get the bow and arrow, which she does have allies in this one. Because like she helps an old lady who volunteered for the Hunger Games. She talks to the wise people and she talks to a bunch of other people, and Haymitch is like, you know, Haymitch is like, you've got some people who want to be your allies, so Katniss gets to choose. And we only get one thing from Haymitch this time. He only sends them a thing that they can plug into a tree, and it gives them water to survive. That's all they get. And this Hunger Games goes by a lot quicker, because it's like the third act of the film. Like, it doesn't start till like maybe, I don't know, maybe third quarter of the film, and it's through the rest of the film. But we do see some pretty cool traps. We get like the baboons that chases after them. We get raining blood. We get a smoke that's toxic, that's poison, that burns their freaking skin. My gosh. Dang, they want these people dead. They try. Oh, do they try. And then there's another one where it's a typhoon that wipes people out. And when they discovered that the old woman, or one of the people, one of the wise people has shock, she's saying, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And then Katniss realizes, oh my gosh, this platform is a clock, and every hour, every stumble is an hour, and each one represents a trap. But the trap that I have to say was the most torture was people that they loved hearing their screams. Like, Katniss hears Prim screaming for her to help, and it breaks her. And she runs, and then when she sees that it's a robot Mockingjay, she shoots it, and then, like, it starts messing with other people. And it drives Katniss crazy. But they decide to get the idea of how to blow up the dome, because they're in a dome on this island. They're in a dome, and they're trying to get out of it this time instead of just fighting to survive. They so the smart guy decides, okay, I'm gonna make this bomb, or I'm gonna make this electricity thing, and at midnight, lightning strikes. So when everything goes wrong, one of the people that they met at the reaping tries to go after Katniss, but they do a trap where the chick who got nude in front of them cuts her arm and wipes the blood on her throat and makes it look like she killed her. So she then gets up and she shoots an arrow at the lightning bolt, and it knocks her halfway a mile back. It shot her butt about 8 feet, didn't it? I saw. I can just imagine Christopher Titus is watching this movie and going, well, you're not going to do that again, are ya? Yeah! But, she gets knocked a while back, and then she gets taken into this carrier, which everyone who dies in this film, they get taken up into the sky and they get lifted out of the games. So she wakes up on the carrier, and she discovers Haymitch is there, Gale is there, the girl is there, and the guy who discovered the game, or who started the games, was there. So all of a sudden they realize that this has been the whole entire plan the whole time, but they didn't tell Katniss, and Katniss is mad. She is pissed. And she's like saying, you son of a... And he's like, we couldn't tell you because, you know, you're not very good at making friends and you can't lie. So, but the plan was to always get Katniss and Peeta out. Or Katniss, anyway. And Katniss asks, where's Peeta? Peeta and, actually, no. I think Peeta and the girl that were left on the island are taken to the capital. So, they're going to District 13 to make up a plan. They've always been talking about rebellion ever since what Katniss and Peeta did to win the Hunger Games. And he said in the film, he's like, Katniss, we have been watching you ever since what happened. You have been our plan from the start to end this. This is the start of the rebellion. We're going to District 13. The film ends with focusing on Katniss's eyes, and she's got the look of, oh yeah, I'm going to kill somebody. Now, Katniss's bow and arrow skills were awesome in this film. And I honestly just have to say, if Hawkeye and Green Arrow were ever to have a child, if these two were ever had a kid together, or, you know, they just got some woman pregnant and whatever, I'm getting into too much detail. But that would be Katniss, because dang, she's good with a bow and arrow. Even better than in the first film. And it was so awesome to see all this. But, guys, I strongly recommend going to Walmart and picking up this film. I enjoyed the heck out of this film. And I'm probably going to pick it up today. Because it's awesome. It is that awesome. There's good acting. Jennifer Lawrence is awesome as Katniss, as always. She and Emma Stone are probably two of my favorite actresses. And I know that they're probably never going to see this video, but if you two ever see this video, I just want you to know, you two are my favorite actresses. Emma Stone, Gwen Stacy. Jennifer Lawrence, Katniss. Thank you, guys. You guys are great actresses, and I would hope that if I ever do become an actor, I would be just as good as you two, but that probably won't ever happen if I become an actor. But, guys, I am Nick Smith. This has been another episode of Phenomenal Views. Pick up Catching Fire, because you will not regret it. You will not regret it. This is one of the best films this year by far. But guys, I hope you guys have a good day. Comment, subscribe, check out my YouTube page, check out my video game playthrough, check out my episodes of the morning segment. Check out stuff. Check out stuff. Alright guys, have a good night. Have a good day.